Hello, everybody. I hope you're all having a really good night. I know it's late by me. If it's morning by you, let me know. If you're tuning in, just say hi, comment, let me know where you're watching from, and we're going to be talking about self-care. So if you're on here, just tell me some of the things that you like to do to take care of yourself, or something you're doing this weekend to take care of yourself. I love hearing about that stuff. So anyway, welcome. Please say hi. I like this to be interactive. But what I'm going to do, I actually put together a guide about self-care. Kind of, I feel like I fall into this trap. A lot of people fall into this trap of, oh, I don't have enough time, right? Like, if I don't have an hour to dedicate to taking care of myself, at least I'm not going to do anything. So I'm going to eliminate those excuses that we have for ourselves. Here are things that you can do to take care of yourself if you've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 20 minutes. And then we can talk a little bit at the end about like longer term things to think about in terms of self-care. But I do have a guide that I'll share a little bit later on that you'll be able to download. So you don't have to take any notes. I have a lot of resources that I'll go through, and I'll give that to you at the end so you can download that. And then I'm also going to talk about my health and my health journey. I'm managing a chronic health condition. If you're in the same position, this talk is for you 100%. So stick around. We're going to talk about that stuff later. But first, what to do to take care of yourself if you've got 5 minutes. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and 20 minutes. And again, if you're watching, say hi. I love seeing chat come through. Tell me, where you are or what time is it by you, because right here, I'm in Wisconsin and it's late at night. But like the things you like doing to take care of yourself, or what you might do this weekend to engage in self-care. I love hearing that stuff. So if you're out there, please comment. All right, so 5 minutes. So if you have 5 minutes to engage in self-care, one great thing to do is take deep breaths. I mean, really straightforward, right? You can do that if you've got 1 minute, 2 minutes. And there's all different kinds of breathing techniques, and depending on what kind of other things you do, if you practice yoga, there's a whole bunch of different breathing techniques you can do. There's people who are really well trained to help you with that. But one of my most favorite straightforward breathing techniques is just slowly inhaling to a count of 4, holding for 2, and then slowly exhaling to a count of 6. And I try to do that for at least 2 minutes. And if you take those deep breaths, your blood pressure is going to go down, you're going to reduce your stress levels, and your heart rate is going to go down. So that's a really easy one, right? That only takes 2 minutes. Hydration, that's really important. I've got LaCroix, which is right. That's like not too bad. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for saying hi. What kind of thing are you going to be doing this weekend to take care of yourself? Tell me. But another thing that I do in my free time is I stream on Twitch, and if you're not familiar with that, it's a video game platform. So I go on there, I play video games, I craft, and things like that. And in my channel, we actually have a hydration reminder. So my followers will set a hydration reminder for me and be like, hey, remember to drink water. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. So that's a really, if you've got friends to hold you accountable to hydrate, that's good. But keep a glass out on your desk. This is really straightforward stuff, but we all forget it. There's this really cool device, hi Kat, called an Ulli, ULLI, that you can like put on your water bottle, and it'll blink if you've gone too long without having a drink, and it is very effective. I had one for a couple years and it works really well. Or there's those, it's by Zach Designs. Like I said, this will all be in the guide. I'll link it in a minute, so that if you like any of the things I'm talking about, you can just download the guide. Oh, a long drive in beautiful Wisconsin and bird watching. Birding. I know you like birding, Michelle. That's awesome. But there's like this water, like a water cup that has rubber bands on it. And so then as you drink, you can put them down to make sure you're drinking enough. So anything like that, those little reminders really go a long way. Doing simple stretches. If you've got 5 minutes, just making sure you take the time to stretch. That's really important. And even if you're at your desk, you can do things like bend your side body and stretch your arms out, right? Do trunk rotations. If you have a space like I do, if you're working from home, you can like get out into the middle. I like to do like calf stretches or try to touch my toes or, you know, all kinds of things. And I actually have in that guide some links to like a desk exercise and then also like whole body stretches that you can do. So like I said, I'll link that in a minute. And if you've got 5 minutes too, engaging your senses is really important. So I was trying to think of one for each one, like, you know, lighting a candle that smells really nice, or making yourself a cup of tea. And, you know, I've got Google Home in the other room, and I'll just like shout to her to play one of my favorite songs when I need a break. You know, going on Pinterest or like going through a magazine and like pulling out things that you think are really beautiful, anything like that. Or like I'm a very like sensory oriented person, so like grabbing something soft is really big for me. Yeah, stretching helps so much, right? Like it's such a good reset. Like, I mean, I watch my dogs do it all day long and then I forget to do it. And I'm like, oh, this is so important. Oh, Kat, you're from LA. You love the cozy look and feel from Wisconsin. You worked out with a trainer from Wisconsin. Oh, I totally miss working out at a gym too. I totally miss it. But, you know, I actually have a couple tips in here for like different things you can do with different spans of time at home too, because I know that that's where a lot of us are right now. If you've got 10 minutes, you can meditate. I actually did an 8.5-minute meditation yesterday that put me on another planet. By the time I came out, I was like, whoa, it's really amazing. The right guided meditation can really do that to you, and you don't need a lot of time to do it. I think people think they need to dedicate a lot of time and attention to it. Now, it is a muscle that you work, right? So you're not going to be good at meditating right away. You're going to get distracted, you're whatever. But there are a lot of really good apps to guide you through. Calm is one of my favorites, where you can kind of set a goal, you can set a duration, and then you can listen to it. And you know what? Now that we're like kind of midway through, let me just post this. I'll post this a couple times so you don't miss it. Ooh, what's my favorite tea? My favorite tea is actually a local tea from Milwaukee called Reishi turmeric ginger tea, and I love that. But any like turmeric tea I really dig. But yeah, any of the things I talk about are in that guide. So any of the apps I talk about are tools, and I'm not like getting paid to do any of this. I just really like this stuff, and I was like, oh, I'll make a guide to make it easy. How to meditate without falling asleep. Exactly. I was almost there yesterday when I did it. But the 8.5-minute one I did was so good. And one of the latest things I've been doing with meditating is like noticing, hi Christy, hi Terry, is like noticing a part of your body that's troubling you, that's like causing you pain. And I've got chronic pain and a chronic health condition. And so I've had to learn how to manage it. Meditating is a really great way to do it. And it's like, even if you just notice that part of your body that's bothering you, sometimes that's enough to make it go away. It's really amazing if you just kind of focus it, not like judge on it or anything like that. You know, you just have to focus on it, and sometimes it dissipates. It's really neat. So meditating is great. Calm is great. And Michelle's got the recommendation for Kelly Howell. So check out Kelly Howell. And Terry, thank you for saying you love the senses idea. That's one of my favorite things, because it's like, you've got 5 minutes, you pick a sense, you engage with it, and like, you can go, right? Like, it's not nothing I'm saying is like revolutionary, but it's just all stuff that we need to remember. If you've got 10 minutes, you can take a stroll, you can take a walk, right? So there's actually, and I put this in the guide, there's health recommendations that, I mean, and we all exceed this. I know we do, but you're not supposed to spend more than an hour at a time in front of a screen. So every hour you should be getting up for 5 minutes and walking around and getting away from a screen. I know it's hard. Now I've got a Fitbit, and at every 50 minutes at like, you know, like 10:50 or whatever, it'll buzz if I haven't moved around during that hour. And it's kind of a good reminder both to hydrate and to walk. But if you're able to walk around the block or just get outside, or, you know, when I was in the office, I would go from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor, back up to the 3rd floor, and get like coffee or tea, and I'd walk 500 steps, and I would be away from my desk for 10 minutes. So, you know, something like that. Figure out, it's always good. I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits. If any of you have read Atomic Habits, tell me if you have, because it's one of my favorite books right now. But that's all about habit chaining, right? So think about an activity you do, pair a healthy activity with it. So, or have like some kind of cue or trigger to do that healthy activity. So for me, when my Fitbit buzzes, that's my reminder. Okay, I can't just get up and walk around to hit that 250 steps I'm supposed to hit. Let me find something else to do too. Like I should go downstairs, grab a glass of water, maybe walk around outside, water my plants, come back in, you know, do something with my hands, something like that, away from the screen. So let's see. And then offload your brain. This one's a big one. Offloading your brain for 10 minutes is a really big deal. And actually, I can show you. I did that today. So sometimes when my brain's just like, it's so full of stuff and I don't know what to do with it all and I don't feel like I can get anything done because I just feel overwhelmed by everything I need to do, I'll just like sit and literally it's like, you know, moving it to an external hard drive and just writing down all the things that are in your mind and all the things that you need to do and all the things that you need to take care of. And either use, you know, pen and paper, or I use like a pink marker because I think it's fun, and paper. Or there's 2 apps that I put in the guide too. One is Marvin that I just started using and it's awesome. The other one's Todoist. That one's been around for a while. But those are great list apps where you can like prioritize and customize and, you know, kind of in Marvin you can do like the eat the frog thing, but it's great because then you're not stressing out about those things. They're out of your brain and onto paper or into digital. Oh, Terry, okay, cool. Yeah, you should totally listen to that. I haven't read Compound Effect. I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget. Compound Effect. Okay. Yeah, Atomic Habits is great. It's all about habit chaining. And what I've heard from people is it's like the Power of Habit kind of on steroids. It's like the next level to that. Yeah, a big whiteboard. Oh, I love doing that too. I'm about to put like a big calendar up and kind of do a dump on there too. I love doing things like that. Prepping produce. That's a really good thing to do at 10 minutes too. And I don't know if you're like me, but I'm the kind of person where if I have to like prep food, I always think it's going to take longer than it does. And then I actually do it and I go, oh, that didn't take any time at all. So if you have 10 minutes and it's like a good investment in your future health, right? Because if you're anything like me, if I have to think about like cutting up a carrot and like peeling it and cutting it and getting it ready, I'm like, oh, that sounds like so much work when it takes no time at all. So take 10 minutes away from your desk and just prep some vegetables or some fruits and have them ready so that future you can eat them, or maybe just eat them right away, right? And then you'll thank yourself later. That's one of those things that I always work up in my mind is taking a lot longer than it does. And like I said, I am managing a chronic health condition, and I actually, I'll talk about this more near the end in the last 5 minutes, but I will say that I like having support with that, and I like connecting with people who are going through that, and self-care is a really big part of that. And if you're interested, if that's the kind of thing that you're dealing with and you're always finding it hard to prioritize self-care and just keep yourself going, here, I'll add the link now, but we'll talk about it more later. I'll post a link later too if the comments get too piled up or something. So those are some things you can do with 10 minutes. With 15 minutes, you can actually do a full body workout in 15 minutes. I know that sounds like wild, but you can. And YouTube is your best friend for workout videos. If you're not using YouTube for workout videos, what are you even doing? If you miss the gym, YouTube is like the next best thing. I have found indoor walk workouts. I have found HIIT workouts, which I'll talk about in a minute, and I found really good whole body workouts. And you can actually just search on YouTube the number of minutes that you have and the type of workout that you're looking for, and chances are you'll find something good. And in that guide, I posted a really nice looking full body workout that I found that just includes like some dumbbells, which most of us have lying around, but you can find things for, you know, body weight, anything like that, you know, workouts you can do, like, you can find it, trust me. I found so many great workouts on YouTube. If you are looking to take a break for 15 minutes and you don't want to sweat, you can work out your brain, right? So I have a lot of apps on my phone. I try not to do too many like sensory overload games on my phone. I play a lot of video games, but I don't want to have those on my phone. So one of the things that I found really handy is playing a game called Two Dots. It's like a very minimalist game where you're just kind of like joining dots together, and it sounds simple, but it's very relaxing. Another game I really like is called Prune. Like I said, all those are in the guide that I posted, so if you're interested in that, feel free to download it. I just did it so that you wouldn't have to take notes, or if you miss something, you know, you wouldn't fully miss it. I have the New York Times crossword on my phone that I like doing, you know, as many times as I remember to do it. Or if you need a break from screens, like I was saying, you know, have like crosswords on paper, Sudoku or something. You can do that for 15 minutes. Anyone can take a 15-minute break and do something like that. Or read a chapter of a book. And I would recommend it being something that you're really excited to read, that you haven't gotten a chance to read, because then it'll feel like a real treat. Like, oh, I'm getting to read a chapter of this book I like. And I don't know if the weather's good by all of you, but we just got a hammock, and that has been a really fun part of my day, to take a break and just go outside and get in the hammock and read the book, whatever book I have. And even for 15 minutes, it just feels like such an oasis. One other thing you can do for 15 minutes is organize your space. So you can't see it. My desk is a little messy right now. And sometimes it's fine. Like right now, it's kind of organized chaos and I know what's going on. But sometimes I get really distracted by that. And all I want to do is clean it up. And it's just, I can't get anything done because it's just nagging at me. And I have to organize. So one of the things I would recommend is stop putting that off, because if that's the thing that's keeping you from doing work and it's something within your range of vision, like you're looking over in that corner and there's just a pile of stuff there, just clean it. Just do it. And then you're taking the break that you need to reset, and when you come back, you feel better and you feel refreshed, right? So don't put that off. I know some people say, oh, well, you're doing that as a distraction to do something else. But I mean, anything that's a distraction in your space is going to keep you from, you know, performing at your best, and you're going to feel better if you just clean up that space anyway. 20 minutes. So if you have 20 minutes, like I said, a HIIT workout, you could do a high intensity interval training workout in 20 minutes. And I actually found like low intensity and high, like low impact and high impact workouts on YouTube under the HIIT category. So you could find things for like, I want to do HIIT, but I don't have any equipment, or I just have this equipment, and you will find something on YouTube for that. So like I said, that's another one. I linked to a low impact HIIT workout in that guide that I thought was really interesting. And it goes like 20 minutes and 40 seconds. It's like right there. And I had just searched for like 20-minute HIIT workout and found it. Now, I don't know. I'm not judging anybody. We're in a pandemic. I get it. We've all maybe let things slip. We're not taking care of ourselves as much as we should be, right? And maybe you look at yourself and you go, when's the last time I washed my hair? When's the last time I took a shower? Or maybe you're just feeling like low energy and you just need like a boost and a kick in the butt. Taking a shower is a really good reset. And, you know, you could do things like drop some essential oils in the shower if you needed some like energizing, or take one hot or cold depending on what you need. And if you're like me and you've got pain and you're trying to manage like chronic pain, that's another really big deal too, because you can just like calm your muscles down. It's a nice natural way to combat that. And I don't know, I always feel like a brand new person when I get out of the shower. And sometimes I'll be like lazy and I'll go all day and be like, oh, I'll do it later. And as soon as I do it, I'm like, I'm glad I did it. That's kind of this whole list, right? Sometimes you just put off the things that are in your best interest, and then once you do it, you go, man, I should have done that a long time ago. Make future plans. This is one of my favorite things on the list. So in 20 minutes, you could start to make plans for a future trip or a big event or something like that. And there have actually been studies that show that our anticipation of travel, or our anticipation of a major event, actually brings us more joy than the travel itself. So if you're kind of bummed out right now because you can't travel, you're in luck, because anticipating it is actually really good for you, and it actually creates joy. So spend this time planning out, like, what is the next thing I'm going to do? Like, I'm looking over my vision board for 2020 is right there. And there's a whole bunch of things that I put on there where I was like, oh, I think I'm going to be traveling to these places, or I feel drawn to these places. Now I'm like, oh, that's not going to be happening, at least not right now. But what I could do is, you know, I've got like Texas on there and Hawaii, and I've got family in Hawaii, and I've got some friends in Texas, so I could plan out what I would like to do when I go there, and that would bring me some joy. So that's kind of a nice thing, just kind of ruminating on something and having that anticipation for a future event can put you in a better headspace. And then lastly, in 20 minutes, you can get creative. So I am a total crafter, and I've got cross stitching, I've got crocheting, I've got all kinds of stuff. I like journaling, I like writing, I like playing music. My ukulele's right over there, so sometimes if I need a quick mental break, I'll just grab that and start to play. And if you think you're not creative, you can do something. There's adult coloring books. I mean, I know those were kind of trendy a few years ago, but they are a really good source of stress relief. I don't know if any of you have done those diamond painting things. Tell me if you've heard of these. Those things where you've got like a sticky surface and you've got those little plastic diamond looking things, and it's kind of like a paint by numbers. I've seen some people do those on live videos and stuff, and those seem pretty fun too. But yeah, I mean, even if you're not the most creative person, you can find something creative to do. And that's really important for us to just, especially if you don't have as creative of a job, or you're doing something that's not that creative at the moment and you're feeling kind of exhausted and fatigued by that, switch gears and do something different, right? So like I said, if you're just coming in, I know that these lives are kind of long. It's late at night here. I don't know what time it is by you, but feel free to say hi. Tell me where you're watching from. I always like to know where people are watching from, and let me know, you know, what things on this list have resonated with you, what ideas you think you'll take with you, or what things do you like to do to engage in self-care. And now I talked about things that are really short, right? They only take 20 minutes or less. I mean, you could spend more time arguably doing any of them, but you could get them done in 20 minutes or less. But that's not, you know, we talk about self-care in terms of like, oh, a bubble bath and chocolate and all that kind of stuff. But that's kind of the surface level of it, right? There's a lot to self-care. There's a lot to think about with self-care. Like I said, I've been managing a chronic health condition for a few years, and I recently connected with an integrative health specialist, and she really focuses on your whole body. So when I go into her, she's like, how, you know, not just like, are you working out, are you eating healthy, but how are your spiritual practices, and how are your relationships, and, you know, how are things with your family, and, you know, all of that stuff. Are you meditating? Are you journaling? Are you doing this? Are you, you know, all of those things, like going to therapy, or, you know, yeah, forging those relationships, making those connections, healing past trauma. All of that is part of self-care too. And it's the harder stuff, right? It's the longer term stuff that takes more time and more of an investment from you. It's not something that you can do like in 20 minutes or less and you feel all better. Oh, you have Hashimoto's, Christy? I'm as of yet like undiagnosed, but I've been dealing with chronic pain, and a lot of my symptoms are similar to like autoimmune conditions. So I kind of manage it in the same way. I like try to eat, you know, anti-inflammatory as much as I can, and I actually, there are some things that I do know and some that I don't. So I have SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which sounds kind of nasty, but a lot of people who have IBS also have SIBO, and so I do manage my gut health with a special diet, and a lot of that is also supposed to be good for if you've got pain. So yeah, so that is something that I think about when I'm you know, eating and when I'm living, and you know, a lot of the things that are, even if you're not diagnosed and you know that you're dealing with something kind of, you know, in that vein, eating well, keeping your stress levels low, taking care of yourself, taking breaks, making sure you rest, making sure, you know, you've got, yeah, exactly, yeah, no gluten, no dairy, yeah. So I actually, if you go to the link that I shared, and I'll share it one more time. So you can go to, so this is where the guide is, and you can see, I'll just put my homepage on it too. So I started this blog in 2013. It's called Dairy Free State, and I went dairy free 14 years ago now. And I wrote a little ebook about it before, and I think by September, everybody in this group is going to be able to get access to it for free. If you want access to it for free before then, just let me know and I'll send you the code. But I also created this guide, and I just started a podcast all about people who kind of live at the intersection, or talk about the intersection between health and food, which I had always siloed before, and it's so strange. I was like, recipes and health conditions are different. And now I've started to put the two together and really engage in that more. So I'm actually, I mean, that's not what I was going to talk about today, but I am always looking for podcast guests. So if you're watching this and you like to talk about food and health and the things that you're doing, so it sounds like, Christy, you might be a good fit for the podcast, just let me know, because I'm always looking for guests. I'm always looking to talk to people. I've interviewed like naturopathic physicians and yoga teachers and just like regular people. So, and nurses and dietitians, just all kinds of people. But I did start the blog to talk about my own dairy-free eating and living. And then I created the guide to talk about things with all of you tonight. And I wanted to do something else. I wanted to put together a group for people who are dealing with chronic conditions and also managing, you know, maybe a full-time job and a side hustle, or entrepreneurship or freelance or whatever it is, because I know that that can be really hard, and it's hard to prioritize your own health. You need that support group. You need those reminders. So here's the link to that too. If you want to join that, and it's just supposed to be kind of a little bit more niche down into, you know, if this is something that you're dealing with, I want to create a support group for that. And if you've got a special condition, a specific condition that you want to talk about in that group, that's what I want it to be, you know. So it's like, yeah, if you've got Hashimoto's and you want to talk to somebody else with Hashimoto's and like compare like what you've got going on, or like, I found this resource really helpful, I found this cookbook really helpful, that's like a place you could do that. But I also just want it to be a motivational place where it's like, hey, have you hydrated? Have you gotten off your butt? And have you walked around lately? And I know that sometimes I just need a kick in the pants. Like, my energy can be really low, and I just need that extra motivation. So anyway, I know I threw a lot at you at the end, but it was just kind of based on what Christy was saying. So hopefully that's interesting to some other folks as well. But I only have a couple minutes here, so if you have any questions afterwards and I don't see them now, you know, feel free to throw any questions that you have in right now, or reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me. My email too is at the end of that guide, so if you download that, you'll be able to get my email and reach out, or you can reach out to me here on Facebook. But I would love to connect with anybody who is kind of in that wellness space, anybody who's got some kind of health condition, that, you know, if you need that support, if you need that motivation, you know, for sure reach out. And I love like encouraging people and being an accountability buddy and all that stuff. So I'm really hoping that that group that I've formed becomes that. So yeah, like, thanks everybody for your comments and hanging out. And I know it's late, at least it's late for me. So it's really nice to have you all tune in. And if you're watching this later and you want to connect, just reach out to me. I would love that. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you got something out of this, even if you could walk away from this with one little nugget. I hope that was worth your time. And yeah, thank you everybody. And I hope you all have a good night. And remember, do something nice for yourself this weekend. Don't let the weekend go by without doing at least one of the things on this list, if not something longer. I'm planning on taking a 16-mile walk on Sunday, so that's going to be my doing a really nice thing for myself this weekend. So I will see you guys all around on my next live, and thanks for tuning in again. Have a good night.